humans have an unmatched advantage when it comes to connecting with others in context, while machines and AI are incredible at taking that context and doing the repetitive tasks that humans don't need to do. So how do we take this concept and bring it together in the context of sales or service? NeuraFlash has built on top of Einstein GPT to curate experiences for customers and agents, where we can apply these concepts directly to our everyday workflow. What you see here is a conversation that has just ended between Jad, a lead, and Patrick, a sales rep. The technology powering this was Service Cloud Voice, meaning this conversation was transcribed in real time, so Salesforce has access to this interaction as if it were a digital channel. Usually, when a conversation is over, most reps are asked to summarize it and store it on a record for tracking and contextual purposes. With generative AI, this is one of those repetitive tasks that can be completed in the backend with no human intervention. Patrick can simply click Get Call Summary, and his entire conversation will be summarized in a few bullets, without spending any time summarizing or taking notes. But that's not all. In this scenario, generative AI wasn't just doing what it was told. It was also working on other recommendations in the background. It was able to pull up products of interest based on the conversation, and provide Patrick with a confidence threshold on these items. Patrick is also provided with recommended next steps in generating a follow-up email and drafting a knowledge article based on the conversation. One of the most important aspects is the human-to-AI feedback loop. The model is asking how helpful these suggestions were. We have a human working on this interaction who fully understands the context. Using his brain to make the AI smarter and work harder for us in the future is critical. This feedback goes back into the model and affects future suggestions in similar situations. This time, it was very helpful, so that's what Patrick responds. Now let's move to the recommended next steps. Patrick has the option to generate a follow-up email, but first, it's going to request more context from the user. It asks Patrick what products Jad may be interested in based on the conversations, with recommendations around GPT and field service, all while allowing him to make modifications and select other checkboxes. It also asks about establishing a writing style. Patrick can select which role best suits Jad. The slider towards the bottom is for reps to determine how technical they want this email to be. When Patrick hits the Generate Email button, you guessed it, the email is generated for him. The tedious task of writing this email has been eliminated for the rep, but the context from the interaction was still leveraged. You can see it's now allowing Patrick to select from a recipient email. It also gives a subject line which can be modified. From there, Patrick can see the body of the email and click Send. Just like that, generative AI has made this task so simple. Since Patrick didn't like the subject line and changed it, he can provide that feedback to the model by saying it wasn't super helpful. In natural language, he gives the feedback that it should be more specific, making the model smarter for next time. Now let's see the next recommended step, which is the option to draft an article and very similarly provide context from the human point of view. Patrick can select how technical he wants this knowledge article to be, as well as who the audience is. He can review the suggested title and data category, and make changes if needed. Again, it asks for feedback on how helpful this was. In this case, it was very helpful, so Patrick selects that. This has been just one small example of how generative AI can power agents and how agents can make your entire business better. AI is incredibly powerful. Humans are incredibly powerful. When both are working in synergy to provide value for your business, the entire space can be revolutionized. Interested in learning more? Check out the full webinar. Read the description for details.